Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Wannabes podcast. I'm Morgan, that's Luke, and the really annoyed face down there is Dreaded. But yeah, so we're really excited to say that tonight, or at least I'm excited. Dreaded isn't, but tonight is a double
I'm
feature.
excited.
You're excited, yeah.
I'm
Dreaded,
excited. I saw both of these. I'm
Dreaded is
excited.
not. But we have a double feature review tonight, so the first half of tonight is actually going to be Luke and I reviewing the Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim movie that just came out. And then I was going to see Kraven, but I've been busy moving my father out from his home that is selling. So I sadly couldn't make it, but Dreaded and Luke will be reviewing in the second half of our show today Kraven the Hunter that also
I
just
am the double
released.
feature.
You are. I was going to be, and then shit got busy, yo. But
Doesn't
it's
matter.
okay.
I got it. Hold it down. I am the only one.
I saw the one that was the best, so
We'll see.
No cursing. All right, guys, you can't curse for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose. That's bullshit. I'm gonna lose. I'm not even. Look, you can redeem anything else. I'll play along. The no cursing one. Sorry. Yo, fuck out of here. No, I will hydrate. I will stretch. I will not forget the popcorn. No cursing.
Are you actually prepared for a hydrate?
It's a tough one.
I am.
I'm prepared for everything.
Are you?
Also, let it be known, you guys, I am battling a cold at the moment, but I'll live. But yeah.
Sorry, you're on the sidelines until we tell you so. So just hang out over there, buddy.
Yeah, but Dreaded, if
Stay
you
over there and sulk.
so Dreaded, if you have any questions about like the movie and like the Lord of the Rings stuff, like feel free to like chime in, ask any questions that our discussions bring up to you, and yeah. But for now, let's switch on over to our movie review setup.
Speaking of,
All right, so first things first, as usual, we're going to go ahead and dive into our box office and all of our information we have on this. So the release date for The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim did release on December 13th, and it is 2 hours and 14 minutes long. There is no post or mid-credit scenes. The budget for this film was $30 million, and let me go down to the box office part. All right, so this film, firstly, just so everybody knows, was only released in the United States, Canada, and I believe Japan. I think those are the only three places. That's wrong. It has a worldwide opening because I remember it's in France, but it's very limited in other territories. But anyway, in the United States and Canada, The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim was released alongside Kraven the Hunter, and it was projected to gross about 6 to 7 million from 3,500 theaters in its opening weekend. The film ended up grossing 625 in Thursday night preview. 625,000 in Thursday night previews, and went on to debut for 4.6 million, finishing fifth behind Moana 2, Wicked, Kraven the Hunter, and Gladiator 2. Now, I do want to state, guys, that doesn't surprise me that with this being, though Lord of the Rings is a massive, massive name, this being an animated Lord of the Rings, doesn't surprise me that these other titles, sadly, with it also being holidays and having a lot of kids and like just stuff like people are doing stuff with family, I'm not surprised that the other films did better than this one. But going on with
behind something like this,
yeah,
it's very different. It's a story that, unless I'm sure you're in the know, you know nothing about, like me. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. But as of December 16th, The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim has grossed 5 million in the United States and Canada and 5.7 million in other territories for a worldwide total of 10.7 million. So yeah, I mean it's over what they thought it was going to make for opening. So, it's and all things considered pretty successful opening for it, especially for though it was marketed, it wasn't like crazy heavily marketed.
It'll do well on streaming.
It'll do very well on streaming. I have my hammer back there. You can kind of see it. I did get the popcorn bucket. But Luke, I'm gonna ask you, where do you want to start? Because the nerd in me, the massive Lord of the Rings lore person I have, can just go on for ages. So
yeah, I don't want to get too much into lore. we do have another movie to review.
Exactly. So where do you want
I
to start?
definitely do want to talk about this film because I did enjoy it. It is a pretty good movie. I was surprised with how much I did enjoy it. And I mean,
I'm
once
not.
things get going in this film, they do very much get going. It was nice to know enough about Lord of the Rings to understand the callbacks. It was nice to get the references. I mean, it took me a second to get on board with the animation. I'm not gonna lie. There were, particularly in the beginning, there were a few scenes that I don't know. It could have just been me, but it didn't seem like they were very crisp with their animation. Um,
Specifically Wolf's dad. I do agree with you. There were some areas where it wasn't like groundbreaking animation.
yeah.
It was still a very well animated film, all
Well,
things
which was
considered,
surprise.
but there was a
It's
few
surprising.
areas that felt a little clunky.
Yeah, and it's surprising given the fact that this is Lord of the Rings, given the fact that Peter Jackson's name is attached to it, given the fact that Warner Brothers is putting it out. I'm sure this definitely didn't lack a budget, but it's just crazy that
I mean, 30,
I
I'm going to be honest though, 30 million for the animation we got is a really cheap budget.
I and it I feel as though the animation gets better as the movie goes along, and
100%.
it
100%.
definitely shows in the beginning. I don't want to say it's rough, but comparatively speaking, there's some stuff that as I was like I said, I didn't notice. I thought maybe they were just me. I'm glad to hear that it's not.
Mhm.
But as the movie progresses, the animation does get a lot cleaner and it does feel smoother. And particularly with the battle scenes, thank God they decided to do that because there's some great imagery in this movie, but it's not within the first, I would say, 20 minutes of the film.
Mhm. A lot of in the first, 20 minutes is a lot of setup. Getting they're making sure that you get to know your protagonist, which is Hera, and I
I love her, by the way.
God, she's amazing. I love her. And I love Dan was laughing at me so hard because, this film for anybody who doesn't know, the Hera is very much a tomboyish character and for and she is the princess of Rohan. And with her role, and I love the fact that, to give a little minor spoiler, sorry guys, her handmaiden is a shield maiden as well, and being able to see her as somebody who is like such a tomboy who is definitely the shield maiden type of character we would have gotten, be able to also have that support, I think did really, really well for her role and her progression in the story.
I can't speak too much about the progression and stuff because this movie to me was for you on other ones where I was like, I already know what's happening,
Which is
and
fair. No, like
it did.
none of it surprised me. What's up,
It
Jordan?
did. Yeah,
Out of
go ahead.
curiosity, if you guys can compare the animation to any anime that's out there, what would you compare it to?
Hmm.
Solo leveling,
So, okay.
kinda, kinda. And actually, I tried to look up, Warner Brothers Animation doesn't have a long list or anything that I could really find or that I really wanted to look at as far as the movies that they've done. But the director of the film, give me one second, I got it right here. Kenji Kamiyama. He's done a bunch of films. He's written Ghost in the Shell. He's directed Ghost in the Shell. .009 or Cyborg 009. Great anime, by the way. He's got what else does he have in here? He was involved in Visions. He did the Blade Runner Black Lotus. I mean, he's got some experience and some names under his belt.
Okay. According to Ramp, he says it gives him Jujutsu Kaisen
Ultraman.
vibes. Out
To
of curiosity, Ramp,
I haven't seen
which
Jujutsu
season
Kaisen.
of Jujutsu? Because the animation on both seasons were a little different.
to
I
an
haven't seen it. I couldn't tell you on that one.
to
I
answer
mean,
your question though, Dreaded, for me, it reminds me a lot of Freyrin.
Okay.
honestly, this type of style really, me personally, I haven't seen all that much. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Agreed.
as far as the crispness when the movie progresses and like the action scenes and the battles are going on, like I've seen shit like that, and it definitely falls in line with a lot of the techniques and the battles that I've been seeing in animes lately. Like they bring it when it comes to stuff like this these days, particularly the ones that we've seen in theaters. So it's definitely on par with those. But as far as like what's out there on the scene, I really couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Okay. So let's hmm. Hmm.
I mean, Lord of the Rings is pretty difficult for me as far as the lore and shit, but as far as this movie is concerned, it's kind of a by the numbers plot to me.
For
I
sure.
mean, it's
Absolutely.
battling kingdoms, but I do like because everything centers around. Hang on, let me make sure I got this right. Uh, centers around Helm. Really, he is the driving force for everything that goes on in this movie. That is King Helm, by the
Yeah,
way.
Helm
Um,
Hammerhand is a massive,
I love
massive
him.
big lore guy. You know,
I
he's
love him as a character. He
he's
is
a
phenomenal.
force to be reckoned with, dude.
Yeah, I love everything about him. I guess I'll just get into it now. But his death scene in the film is to me because like I know I have this debate with a friend at work all the time about One Piece and how epic and significant Whitebeard's death is and that whole thing.
Hmm.
I got a lot of those vibes from the way King Helm went out,
I could see that.
and I think this movie did it a lot better. A lot better. Like
Hmm.
watching that scene, everything that I hear people talk about the Whitebeard's death in One Piece is like this actually was, and I enjoyed that very much because he gives me those vibes. I enjoyed that whole scene with him standing alone. That was good.
Yeah,
Well,
that
also
was
Brian Cox. I'm sorry. Also Brian Cox voices him, and this is like one of my favorite Brian Cox performances. Honestly,
honestly not the one of this is my favorite Brian Cox performance I've ever seen.
yeah, he
Damn.
fucking kills it in this movie. He seriously,
He
he is the biggest name in this film. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't get anybody else famous, air quotes, to
well,
be in here. I don't really know anybody from this cast,
Miranda
voice
Otto.
actors or otherwise.
Miranda Otto was extremely famous in the Lord of the Rings realm. Miranda Otto is like so for she's the one who's actually narrating the film, like
Mhm.
the whole story, and she's actually the actress for Eowyn, who we see in the Lord of the Rings, the one who actually is like who has the famous line, who becomes a Shield Maiden of Rohan herself. Kind of has a similar story to Hera in a way, not in like the the somber side of it of like losing family and everything else and like a character like Wolf, but
I
her
see.
kind of stepping up, going against her father's wishes in a way, taking up the sword and doing all that sort of thing. She's the one who has the famous line, "I am no man," and
Yeah.
stabs, the Witch King. So it's really nice to see that she was able to come back. To just return to Brian Cox though, there's a hold on, I need to remember the actor's name. Uh the Rings.
Brian Cox is the one I want to talk about the most because I like his performance the most. I don't know, like I said, I don't know anything about anybody else. I can't really speak on them, but
Oh, here
I
we
mean,
go.
Brian Cox's voice in this film is, I think, going to go down as iconic.
I believe, yeah. So Bernard Hill, who sadly actually passed away back in May, he was the king of Rohan, Theoden in the Lord of the Rings, and we see him like through the whole trilogy as this role, and is, the basically the father figure to Eowyn, the Shield Maiden we see. And what I
Yeah.
like is with Brian Cox is there was moments in the trailer before obviously I knew it wasn't Bernard Hill because he passed away earlier this year in May, that Brian Cox sounded in certain lines and deliveries so much like Bernard Hill when he was being Theoden, which is honestly, in my opinion, a beautiful decision. Like not only to like embrace like the memory of Bernard Hill, but also like the iconic role he had because he had iconic major lines. The line he says to his men, like ride now and everything else, like that was the similar. It was a little bit longer in the Lord of the Rings, but they said similar lines. So it was really cool to think that maybe that sort of speech was passed down through the kings to then reach Theoden. So I kind of liked that linking and almost like it would be considered fan service. There was definitely fan service in this if you're a big Lord of the Rings person, especially with like the locations we're at and everything. But I just want to say Brian
And
Cox did a beautiful job trying to like honestly make me feel like, oh yeah, this is part of the lineage of Theoden.
the only two things in this movie that felt fan servicey to me was the fight with the orcs and Sauron showing up at the end
I
of the movie. Those are
disagree.
the only two
I
things that were
disagree.
I'm like, that's some fan servicey shit.
I 100% disagree with you. So
Because
right,
there's a lot of references and a lot of callbacks, but I don't think they're done in like most of them to me very much fit in this story. It's not something that they go out of their way to do.
yeah. So those two actually were things that were genuinely happening during this timeline. Saruman was coming into power under Isengard. And the orcs were genuinely, because right now Sauron is trying to find his ring. Like, you know, that there is a search for the One Ring, and the whole thing is,
Yeah.
you know, it actually to me doesn't feel like fan service, because it is part of what is happening before we even get to the Hobbit and before we get to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So, though I can see how it comes off as fan service, like if you know, like if you were somebody like me who knows the lore, it doesn't feel like purposeful fan service, if that makes sense.
Yeah, those are the only ones to me where I
Yeah.
was like, I because
And when we do
yeah.
when we do see Saruman, though, they actually pulled his line from the films, which I
I
would,
was wondering.
instead of somebody actually voicing him, he's credited in the film and everything as Christopher Lee. So
Yeah,
they pulled their one of the lines. He says
it's not just straight
it's not somebody just ripping and trying to be like
AI.
him, or
That's what I
AI.
meant to say.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
just straight AI, which
yeah.
is what I was wondering when I heard. I was like, that's definitely his voice, but like, did they AI that in there, or are
No,
they gonna tell me
they
this is
pull.
like his last
Luckily,
performance or some
because
shit?
they were working with Peter Jackson. You know, Peter did the original films and everything else.
Yeah,
So they were able to have the archives of all that audio and everything.
sure.
Hello, Nerd Holla. Hello, hello. Hello,
Pulling
Garden Hose.
pulling everything from the archives there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the animation after about the 20-minute mark, and
And that's
that's
fair. That's
no,
fair.
that's good too because like this needs to have really good animation, and it does. None of the fight
Especially
scenes
with
look bad.
with the title that it has, with it being Lord of the Rings, it needs to be good animation with. And not that other parts of the world aren't important, but Rohan is the one that we have info we get the least screen time with, or we get
Yeah,
the least lore screen time with.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a move that they go to try and tell some more stories too, right? Like you've got the Rings of Power,
I
whatever
mean,
maybe
shit.
movies they got knocked
The
them
Rings
down.
of Power wouldn't even take Peter Jackson's help, and they're fucking up lore. So, you
They
know,
do not fuck up the lore
if
more than
Peter
not have it.
Jackson, I won't, like, there are a lot more people who won't have Rings of Power than me, because Rings of Power is beautifully made. It is beautifully well done. It is disappointing the changes they are making, but some things can maybe still be difficult to put on screen for the
Yeah.
sake of creating stuff.
Well,
Who you
But
calling a hoe?
what'd you feel about this story though? Like, how do you feel about Wolf? How do you feel about his clan and everything that he goes through? And I mean, uh, Hera's brothers are kind of pointless. You already
oh,
assumed.
they were just plot driving devices. Her brothers
Yeah.
were.
Well,
They were there for
trailers.
the emotional pull for not only Hera but especially Helm.
Well, the trailers, pretty much make them obsolete anyway. The focus is very much on Helm. It's very much on Hera. They don't even I don't even think the two brothers are in the trailers. And like I'm watching it, and I as soon as they show up, it's like, okay, well, one or both of you are gonna die. I thought everybody was gonna, and that's where we were taking this. But I was surprised by the end there and how they went about having her not be talked about. But no, Hera's little journey was by the numbers. I've definitely seen it before, but it's done well enough. I think the animation that comes with it, everybody's character designs are really cool. I like how everybody looks in this movie. I don't know if they really fit with the feel of like the original movies. Just because I don't know. It's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure everybody's colors in the original movies are kind of like drab and kind of dour, and
So
everybody's
yeah,
pretty dirty most of the time.
the color
Everybody's very
grading,
bright. They're
the
very bright in this movie.
and I think there's a couple reasons for that. So first things first, they did do like darker, kind of more deeper contrasting color grading for both the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
But I
Even the
think with
Hobbit's kind of brighter by comparison.
it
Just
is,
looking back
and
on it.
that's partially I think also because of just better cameras, that can capture better imaging, crisper color and imaging as well.
Fair point.
But if we look at this though, right now this is actually a time of prosperity because the ring is gone. We don't have the overarching, like, constant war and battle that we have had from Sauron, and for like the whole thing with the rings. Though he is searching for it, and there is stuff happening behind the scenes, for the rest of the people who was normally at war with Sauron himself and his armies, like, right now, this is actually a time of peace and prosperity. It happens to not be within the people of Rohirrim and Rohan, but it actually makes sense to me that the colors are a little brighter, because it's supposed to be a brighter time in the history.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do appreciate the amount of violence that was in here. I was wondering where they
Me
were going to go with
too.
that once the battle started. That's probably another reason they decided to go with the animation, because they could get away with a lot more,
Hmm.
which looks great. I did enjoy that this whole thing starts because our fucking king just one punches a dude to death, and it's like, oh, now we have to go to war. Like, holy
I
shit.
did. I definitely went over to Dan. I was like, one punch.
Yeah, that was very impressive. I did enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoy Helm a lot. It's pretty much just about them two, because I wanna give Wolf some love, but he disappears for a good chunk of the movie, and he's just there to be a straight up villain. Like, he has a story, but I don't think it's told very well. Um,
And I
once
think that's because like, I don't disagree with you. I think his side wasn't told very well, but
yeah.
I think that's also because
Actually,
in
no, no,
in
no. Hold on,
his
hold on. Fair point. Fair. I want to expand on this a little bit, because there
sure.
were sections of this movie where I checked my watch. This is a 2 hour and 17-minute long movie, but there's a lot of dead space in this movie, and they cover a few genres in here. We cover Lord of the Rings. We cover an adventure. We even cover some horror shit in this, which I did like. I enjoyed that stuff where with the wraith and shit. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. It's animated very well, but like, there's those in betweens where we could have spent it getting me to know Wolf a little bit more and understand, like, seeing what he's doing. There's a good chunk of time where they're just building some shit and nothing else is really happening. There is a lot of dead space in this movie.
I disagree with you. In my opinion, the space that feels like dead space is moments where you get to like see and feel kind of the emotion going on. I think honestly, it's there to let the heaviness hopefully hit the audience. And I mean, call me the empath that I am. I never was upset and never felt that it paced slow and that it even had this dead space, because I was even in the moments that are quiet and considered maybe to you dead space, was feeling emotion.
Well, see, I have no problem calling it that now. Like, I already had those moments where I was like, I kind of wish something would happen, but even more so now that we both agree that that time could have been spent on the other side.
But however, part of the reason why, and what I was going to get into and say, I don't disagree that things could have been told better on Wolf's side of things,
Fucking hell.
but part of the reason why I think things weren't is because, honestly, you see in moments where Wolf's mind is actually pretty broken.
Mhm.
When he's beaten, he's trying to, he throws away his honor. He's really not someone who's mentally well, and that's how, and even with how this whole war
Well,
started,
yeah, his dad
and
took a fucking straight right to the jaw and died. Like,
well, but what I'm
he's a
saying
little upset
is I
too.
feel like some of that area and why parts of his side maybe feel disjointed or not told well is because his mind was disjointed and couldn't ever explain himself and, you know, be
I could
normal. If
accept
that
this. I could accept this if there was a little more visually that made
Which
me
is
let me
fair.
know that.
Which is fair.
I don't really get that either. And then he's just kind of his scenes kind of his stuff in particular plays the most out. Like, I all right, I see where this is going. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Um, and I just would have liked him to be a little bit more interesting, because I think he's got the second, if not most interesting story to tell. It's either him or Helm. No offense to Hera, but her story is not all that interesting to me because she's the most
Honestly,
by the
I
numbers.
mean, if you think about it, the it literally even started with like, here's a story of someone you will never hear of,
Well, okay,
because
so I want to talk about that narrator, because that narrator just gives me information that I A already know because the movie just told me, or B is telling me like what's about to happen. Fuck you, narrator, go away. Stop telling me shit. She does it like 3 times, or is it 4?
I'm never upset with the narrator, but
I am, because, like, again, that's just some extra shit. In the beginning, cool, but she's already riding a horse. She's already being a free spirit. I'm seeing exactly what type of character she is while having the narrator tell me.
however, I just want to remind you that that is actually a theme that Peter Jackson did in the Hobbit trilogies as well as the Lord of the Rings. We did have Galadriel having kind of a narrator dialogue over top of opening scenes and things like that. So that is something we see that I think is just a stylistic choice that Peter Jackson chooses to do.
I like that he didn't have a redemption arc because he definitely doesn't deserve it.
He
He's kind of a
fucking doesn't
whiny,
deserve it.
he's kind of a whiny little bitch. But
After he killed his right hand, I'm like, yeah, fucking off him. Just murder this kid.
but as far as what you were saying about like the Hobbit and this stuff, I feel like it might work in Lord of the Rings because that's the first time we're seeing it. But the Hobbit films aren't regarded as high as Lord of the Rings. Maybe there's some things in there that we don't need to have in there so we can like streamline the stories or something. You know, a lot of the complaints about the Hobbit are that they're too fucking long, or like, why do we take this and expand into this type of shit?
Which makes me fucking crack the hell up.
Well, I'm just
because
saying stuff that we could take
of
out.
the extended editions that the majority of the Lord of the Rings people like to watch. I watch nothing but extended. Anytime I play the Lord of the Rings, they're always the extended versions. And you know what? And people are gonna bitch that the Hobbits are too long. They're still short of the original Lord of the Rings.
What was I gonna say?
That's some bullshit.
I appreciate that
they're just pissed off that there's Tariel, an elf that's not supposed to be there as a fucking love interest.
I'm happy that Miranda Otto got to come back and play her character again.
Me too.
And do something and be cool. It's a nice little nod. I do like it. But do I need it?
't you do. You don't know you need it, but you do. I think that it we can't curse again for 5 minutes, but
to animate and
Luke's
show
not gonna
me the
listen.
thing. I do this with you all the time. It's a movie. Show me. Don't tell me. If you're gonna give me both, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm sorry that you're so dense that you can't understand the emotion behind things.
I don't need somebody to tell me what I'm watching. I'm dense. Are you kidding me?
Let's call a quick timeout really quickly. Chad has redeemed again, no cursing, but Luke has already established that he's not going to follow that rule.
Yeah, that's
Morgan. About you, what are you gonna do about that?
For 5 minutes? Are you
fucking deal with
nuts?
Then why the heck do we even have it?
It's a nice little.
He got me angry. Usually I'm good about keeping to it, but he got me heated.
Well, fucking put me in some earbuds that way your coworkers can't hear me cussing. This isn't hard. Why would you be at work and pull this up and just have it blasted through your speakers for everybody to learn?
Why are you questioning the loyalty?
To support us.
To
support us, bitch.
It's dangerous. You already know what you're getting into. Act like you watched this show before.
Wow, Luke, you don't want people to watch this even at work. I can't believe it.
That's
anyway,
I love Kim and I appreciate that she is watching. I'm trying to help her out because I don't want to get her in trouble. Although I guess that's the whole point of the no cursing. So, all right, I'll try harder. I guess I'll try a little bit harder.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I fucking love this. Fuck! Damn it! No!
You guys suck at this.
I do suck at this. So, okay, I'm staring at my clock.
Now we're good.
I'm going to be honest. I absolutely love this film. Like, and I had a debate with Dan. I was on where I'm even going to put this in our ranking when we do the ranking. And
for movies of the year?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I already know. This is going to be like, this is top 5. Easy. This is easy top 5.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Just saying.
Don't leave.
Tim, stay! Ignore
Don't listen to the... Okay, I'm going to...
That's all you had to say was I don't have earbuds. I'll be better. Also, tell your coworkers to come watch. So that way they can watch the show too.
Tell them to subscribe. No, tell them to follow. Yeah, tell them to subscribe and follow.
Anyway, yeah.
I'll be better. I'll try.
Yeah, Luke, you're not wrong. It's definitely... I will say this. I won't give exact positioning, but it is in top 5.
Yeah.
Like, and I made sure to remind myself, like, don't rate this biasly as the fan of the Lord of the Rings that you are. There is a lot they did here that I absolutely loved. I love the character arcs we got in this. I love, though the animation in some areas were a little clunky and could have been better. I loved the animation. I loved the coloring. I loved the fan service we got. And and I loved just being able. And honestly, the one of the best parts for me was actually being able to lean over to Dan, who though he does know the Hobbit, he does know the Lord of the Rings. He doesn't know it as extensively, the lore as extensively as I did. So being able to just lean over and explain to him, hey, where you see her cousin posting up is actually where Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas depart from Rohan, like the riders of Rohan, to actually go and get the the dead who still owe the King of Gondor a favor before they're allowed to pass on. Like that is where that passage is. And like being able to like lean over and give him that little tidbit of lore, be like, hey, that this calls back to this in the Lord of the Rings. This ends up being linked to this in the future because this is actually 183 years before The Hobbit, before Bilbo Baggins ever gets the ring. So I love that we're getting things, you know,
Hobbit in the movie, correct?
The Hobbit the movie, yeah. So Bilbo Baggins.
No. In this one, there is a Hobbit in it, right?
No.
Or is that a kid?
I think
I thought that was a Hobbit.
he's a younger adult kid
All right, never
thing.
mind.
I didn't take him as a hobbit.
Yeah, that's why I took him as a Hobbit because he's like a weird little like adult, but not. You know, it's. I was like,
I'm
this is either
pretty
a big
sure he
child or a
stands.
Hobbit.
I'm pretty sure he still stands taller than
I'm
the
just wondering.
hobbits. So yeah,
'Cause
no, I
mean,
believe
either
he
way.
is a kid of Rohan. He's just kind of like a middle aged teen, like probably like
Have
13
you ever
ish.
seen? Have you ever seen the old Lord of the Rings animated movies?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so they have him running around like the hobbits run in that movie.
And that's probably just a cute Easter egg for Lord of the Rings fans.
Got me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. I just what I'm getting at is I
wanna-
think they really did well because like Helm Hammerhand is a legendary figure. Is somebody if you go and you read all the extended lore books that are out there on the Tolkien world, like Helm's name does come up. But you don't get the additional info on his family. You don't get to go as in depth as this, and it's nice to hear it and to see it.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have seen this in a packed theater, I think, because there's a lot of moments where they've got those like clap moments.
Oh,
There's a few of those in here.
If I
and,
had
like,
the right theater, I would have been clapping. But it was also like only like I want to say 3 other groups of people seeing it. It was a very dead theater, but at the same time, we have a lot of big titles out. We have Wicked, we have Gladiator 2, Moana, and it's the holidays. People are going to see some of the holiday movies that are out.
Yeah, putting this out in theaters right now is a bold move considering what's out here.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that call. I would have said that's a bad call to make, but I respect the balls to do it.
I'll be honest though, the announcement of the trailer for this came out of nowhere. Like this was kept very quiet until they finally announced it, which was impressive.
I imagine they've got a good idea of what they're working with here, and they probably had some expectations of this might be a little better financially, but I'm pretty sure they anticipated something like this. I want to give the actors more kudos, but like it's a lot of TV folks, a lot of voice actors, people that maybe you'll recognize, but nobody's really a big name. The only one is Brian Cox, and Gia Wise will probably have a nice lengthy career since Emma Thompson is her mom. I mean, they're all notable in their own right, and they all do very well in this movie. I just don't know them well enough to speak on them or their performances because this is the first thing most of these names I've seen. You know what I mean? But they're all very good. The voice acting in this is done very well. There's a couple instances for me where that doesn't really match up with the mouth flaps, but that's just the state of animation, especially when you're doing English language over anime in particular.
Yeah.
I get that is what it is. I don't hold that against this film. But yeah, I can't really give anybody too many kudos because, like, I'm sorry, I don't really know who you guys are.
Which is fair. What's great is there is a lot of names. Like though there are names that are pretty well known. I think there are quite a bit of recent breakouts or relatively newer voice actors in here too. Just looking at the age of some of them that I'm seeing, which is great. This is a huge name to have Lord of the Rings on your like filmography. That's awesome. So it's nice to see that they were dipping into new young blood.
It'd be nice to see a little bit more success from this film. I think it is good enough to garner that kind of attention. But yeah, putting it out now is it's a ballsy fucking move. Like it just is. I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Kraven's gonna make more money just based off of the fact that
Since
it's live action and it's a
s-
name and
debut, like for its opening, since they had the same opening weekend, it already has made more money, which I'll give you guys the box office
yeah,
numbers for that when we
yeah.
dive into that part of the review.
That's just the
But
nature of the beast, though. So
absolutely.
that's tough, and I hope that this is something that will stand out on their resumes because I think it should. I
Hmm.
definitely think it should. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to get into the battles too much because like you should go watch it.
Please
Uh,
watch it.
but
If you're a
but
Lord of
it
the Rings
does.
fan, please. Even if you're not, go watch it. It's a very, very good film. You do not
There's
need to know the Lord of the Rings lore to enjoy this film.
no, no. It just gives you a little extra. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. You get more giddy or be me and know that they're about to say the line and I say it and Dan's sitting there laughing at me. But it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine. But to answer, we have in chat here on Twitch from Drizmir Soulstar. So Tyler, he asks, "You ever think they'll go to older times like Morgoth and the War of Wrath?" And with how far back the Rings of Power already is going, because that's further back than this. I could see it happening. I would love for them to do that. I can't say yes or no. It kind of times will tell. I don't know who's going to be in charge of it, but I would love to see them cover more of the lore of the world of the Lord of the Rings. There is so much deep, rich history and like tales that could make amazing films, amazing mini series, even new trilogies. So I really hope they do. They have plenty of stuff to work with.
Yeah, I agree. I think the potential is unlimited, and I want this to be successful enough so they don't go away from doing this as a way to tell their stories. I think this works very well. I'm sure anytime you do Lord of the Rings, you could probably get I would assume any anime studio in Japan to fucking do your
And this
animation.
was where they were working with a studio, I believe, in Japan. Let me double check who the
Yeah,
studio was.
I know. I was trying to look that up.
Yeah, so obviously we had Middle Earth Enterprises, which is also was formerly known as Tolkien Enterprises. Let's see, where is the main one? Yeah, it was Sola Digital Arts Incorporated, which
Yeah,
is a Japanese animation studio, and they are known for. Let me pull them up. For anybody who knows Tower of God, that's a big one that they're known for. They also are known for Rick and Morty, the anime, The God of High School,
excuse me.
Shenmue, the animation, Ninja Kaimu. I'm probably saying a couple of these wrong, but that's okay.
There's a couple big names in that you already said.
Yeah. For video games, though, they have the opening movie for Tekken 7. They did special demo contents for the PlayStation VR of Shin Godzilla. Um, they also, for other films,
I want to see that.
yeah, so for in other films that they've done a Ghost in the Shell for which is the SAC 2045 Sustainable War. That's a film they did.
I think this
Um
director would worked on that too.
yeah, they did Starship Troopers Invasion specifically. And for OVAs and ONAs, they've done uh Evangelion, which is another Impact, which is Evangelion's a big name in the world. There is more stuff for Ghost in the Shell. We have Samurai and Shogun they've worked on as well. They do, though there's not a bunch of big names out there, they do have some big stuff behind them. Like they've done some stuff for Blade Runner, Black Lotus, for some of their television series and whatnot. So
Same director.
yeah. Like that they're pretty decent. They're not like the top dogs of Japanese animation, but they have some good chops to themselves.
Point is, I don't think that there's any reason why, if they decide that they want to make a story in Lord of the Rings, that there isn't an avenue for them to do it, whether it be live action films, which make bank, whether it be TV shows, which get views, or whether it be this. This is the only thing right now that I think would be deemed unsuccessful. But that's just because it's a new medium, and I feel like that's a tough sell.
And
You know,
let's be honest too though. Like I don't consider this unsuccessful. They actually broke what their expected box office numbers were, what they were expecting to make. It's
I'm
already
curious to
made
see what this does in
it's
Japan.
already made 1/3 in 1 week of its budget. Like that's in my opinion not a flop. If you look at the numbers, it's doing good. And I think it'll do even better once Christmas is over. This isn't going to move this isn't going to leave the theaters immediately. Once you get through like Christmas and through New Year's, I think this could end up getting more viewership after the holidays are over because people are dealing with all the Christmas shopping. They're dealing with like getting the cooking going, you know, wrapping the gifts, getting the house ready for all the family. Like, I don't know. I
I want
think
you
it
to
could
be
do better
right.
after.
I want you to be right, but I disagree, especially with Sonic coming out. If you
Which
got your
and
choice
no,
at the end of the
and
day,
that
between
is
Disney,
fair.
it's
That
gonna be
is
Sonic.
fair. But I can see, you know, we have Sonic and Mufasa coming out. So, you know, those are going to be big titles that people are going to go see Christmas Day
No
when
one's
they've
gonna go see Mufasa.
when people well, I already have a bunch of family who are going to see it Christmas Day after we open presents in the morning and before dinner at night. So,
Yeah, by the way, if you do that, be nice to your theater workers, please. Be very nice.
yeah,
They have to
they
work on Christmas. Be nice.
yeah,
Don't go in there
they're
saying,
giving
"Oh, I
up
can't believe you have to work on Christmas." You're there. Of course they're working.
yeah.
Be nice to
They're
your theater.
they have to work on Christmas cuz you showed up. So,
Be nice. Be very nice to them. But
um
yeah, I can't really speak on anything else about this movie. I can recommend it. It's
mhm.
very good.
And
But
I
like other than that, I
to
can't
call
speak on it.
back to when we first started talking, I do agree that this will boon even better on streaming services.
Yeah,
This will do
no,
really well on streaming for sure.
when this shows up on Max, people will watch.
This is a film I will like when I host my Lord of the Rings watch parties. This is a film I will start the Lord of the Rings watch parties with this before I go to like because I was doing in chronological order. So
You
I,
do.
you know, I hope everybody's ready for another 2 hours and 15 minutes to my Tolkien Lord of the
I don't think I
Rings.
am. I don't think I am. You know, I don't have too many negative things to say about this other than the fucking runtime, man. I don't think it needs to be 2 hours and
I
17 minutes.
disagree. I had no
An
problems with
hour
that runtime.
45.
No.
An hour 45. We're good.
Mm-mm.
This story does not need to take 2 hours and 17 minutes to tell. I already know what's going on within the first 5. Pull the Morgan.
Mm-mm.
So do you want to score it?
Sure.
I am going to give it a 7. I love the animation. I love the voice acting. I love the performances. I love the I love the fight scenes. The stories. I mean, I've seen it before. It's a lot of trope stuff. It is what it is. That animation is it's kind of in the beginning, in my opinion. I'm glad to hear that somebody else saw it other than me, and to hear it from you just makes me feel like I'm not losing my eyesight. So that's good. It's got some shoddy animation, and that runtime, man. Especially since we just talked about the fact that we would have liked to have some more time with Wolf and his people. The fact that I feel like this movie drags on in certain areas, and I didn't get that, just
Yes and no.
makes me go with that even more. That it doesn't need to be 217. 2 hours to an hour and 45 to 2 hours, I think would have been the sweet spot. We're
I
good. You've
disagree.
seen this. You have seen this movie before. You have seen this before. It is a new skin for a story that you've seen countless times, but it's done well, and the animation is cool. Go check it out. 7.
So I am with my unbiased rating, not trying to be like diving into
Oh, you're gonna
like
give me a bias rating too? Because I mean, that's a 10.
no, my biased rating is a 9.
Oh wow.
Because there is some, you know, like I was saying, the animation in a couple areas was a little choppy. There could have been a little bit more weaving to pull even more emotion, but I mean, I teared up multiple times. I didn't cry, but I teared up. And also I loved the fan service. There was a lot of great lore. I don't want to say fan service, but people can consider it fan service. But then on the flip side of that, I unbiasedly to like take away try to like separate my absolute love and enthusiasm for this world. It's an 8. Like it's still a very very good film. I disagree with you that we needed a lot more from Wolf. Um we could have used a little bit more. I would like to have seen like him kind of like maybe him in the beginning of him like being banished, seeing like maybe a mini like 2-minute montage of him just dealing with his grief and watching his grief break him, and then
Yeah,
that's
how
all
does
I
he amass
needed.
power?
Um,
How does he amass power? He just comes back and has it.
well, and that's
No, I
supposed to
agree.
be, and like that's supposed to be a shock though, because no one has ever been able to unite these hill tribes because they
Sure,
are supposed to be more barbaric, if you will.
that's fine. It
But
can
that's
still be a
also
shock
part
to
of the
them. It
reason,
doesn't have to be a shock to me.
and I want to say that's also probably part of the reason that I don't mind that we didn't get more time with his men, only because there isn't a lot of layers to them. They're very simplistic people. Um and like they're more in it for the gold than they are the actual to help their king. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like that was very there wasn't going to be a lot of notes with his side of like in terms of the army to work with. Maybe some additional scenes of him in his right hand and seeing his hand telling him not to do something but then him doing the opposite. That could have worked to show a little bit more of Wolf's side and like how he thinks and like or even the struggle and the eventual bit of his right hand saying no, I'm not doing that. Um though I saw those beats coming from pretty far ahead. But in all,
It is one of those movies.
yeah, in all very very good. I really enjoyed this film.
100%. I agree 100%.
But yeah. With that, everybody, that is our first movie review of the night, which is Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. And guys,
Now it's
it's
here where the rails fall off.
yeah, it's about to get
Fucking rails.
fucking crazy. Prepare.
It's not gonna get that crazy.
I
He's being dramatic.
he was messaging me while I was in the movies watching Lord of the Rings about how much he hated Kraven.
Yeah, he's being dramatic. And I'm gonna explain to him why.
Dramatic?
No, he's not being dramatic.
He's being dramatic.
Dreaded doesn't dive
I'm
that
going to
hard.
explain
Dramatic?
to him why he's being dramatic. He's being
Okay,
dramatic.
before y'all start fighting, let me do box office for Kraven. So, guys, I was not able to catch Kraven the Hunter, but Dreaded and Luke has, and they're gonna duke it out over here. But
And you were lucky to not
shut
catch
up!
Kraven the
I'm
Hunter.
talking.
Double.
I'm
Apologies,
talking. No, it's fine. But before y'all fight like crazy,
I'm so happy he's here in chat.
let me um do box office, and then y'all can fight. So first things first, film was released on December 13th, same time as Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. The runtime is 127 minutes, and the budget for this film was 110 to 130 million. As for the box office and how well it did, in the United States and Canada, Kraven the Hunter was released alongside, as I said, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and was projected to gross 13 to 15 million from 3,211 theaters in its opening weekend. The film made 4.7 million on its first day and went on to debut to 11 million, finishing third behind Holdovers, Moana 2, and Wicked, which no surprise.
Great.
Yeah, so as of December 17th, 2024, Kraven the Hunter has grossed 11.8 million in the United States and Canada and 15 million in other territories for a current worldwide total of 26.8 million.
I think Kraven will get a little bit of a boost over the holidays, but not much. I think there will be enough morbid curiosity to where, like, when everybody's got like free time and shit, now they'll probably go check it out. But
Right.
I don't expect much more. I'd be surprised if we get to like 50 at this point, which is like I thought was a slam dunk. Now I don't think so.
You know, you thought that Lord of the Rings had a bad box office, but I 100% disagree because this shit.
Oh well, this
had a bad box office.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm going to argue it doesn't deserve to have a bad box office, but like, yeah.
Yes, it does.
For S's and G's, how much did The Last Dance make?
Last Dance made about 400 million, I want to say.
I can
Its
look.
first week.
Oh, it's
I can
first
look.
week.
Hold on.
Hold on.
What was that opening?
I got it.
Uh,
So it has. Sorry, the page is loading. There we go. So
Gary
it's
Taylor Johnson, baby.
first week box office. United States and Canada, blah blah blah. Let me see. I'm just trying to skim it so I get you like the quick answer. Okay, so it went on to debut 51 million. Finishing first, but marking the lowest opening of the series. So yeah, 51 million for its first weekend, for its first week for Venom. The Last Dance.
At a bare minimum, this movie is on par with Venom: The Last Dance.
And it made
On
half.
par with box
Yeah.
office?
No, just like in quality and movie in general.
Quality in movie?
This is
What the
definitely-
fuck are you on about?
This is definitely on par at a minimum with the films of the Venom franchise. It's better than Morbius, hands down. It's
No, it's
better than Man of
surprisingly
Web,
not.
hands down. So
I'll
the
probably
only
give that
movies
one.
that it has to compete with are the 3 Venom films, and I can promise you, I can find at least 2 that this is at minimum on par with, and I'm gonna say it's on par with 2 and 3.
You are out of your fucking mind. This
Listen.
movie is terrible.
This movie is not
If
terrible.
it's better than Madam Web, I'm gonna believe you there. I'm
Yeah, this
surprisingly
movie
saying
is
that
not
I thought I liked Morbius better than this.
No, this movie is not. You're insane. This movie is, and especially if you like Morbius, you should like this movie. This movie.
I didn't like Morbius. I
Definitely
hated
better than
Morbius.
Wait, how is it? How is this movie worse than Morbius?
Because at least Morbius had stuff that was cool in it that I actually like. No, that was solidly cool.
You didn't like anything in this movie. There's nothing in this movie. That you
No!
like. Are you kidding me?
No, I hated this. Okay, hold that thought.
Come
Is
on.
there anything I actually liked in this movie? I liked one particular scene.
Sorry,
Okay. Sorry, cat.
Sorry, Tyler's cat.
What's your cat's name? Sorry, Mr. Cat Person.
Her
Okay.
her name is Miss Kitty.
Sorry, Miss
Sorry,
Kitty.
Miss Kitty. Okay, one scene. I can think of literally one scene in this entire movie that I actually liked.
Oh, I can think of several.
And it is the scene where Kraven encounters the lion. Also, funny enough, why was that lion so damn swole?
Right? Yeah. What the?
That
what the fuck
lion
did they call
was
that lion?
so swole, bro.
That lion
That
had a badass name too, and then he showed up. Yeah, that dude was fucking. He does
That
not.
dude-
sleep like that.
But I actually like the scene where Kraven like faces it down with the gun, but then just like puts the gun down because it's like a moment of like, we cool here.
Yeah, it's the
So
dad
Russell
that
Crowe
fucks
fucked it up. Exactly.
I like Russell Crowe in this movie, by the way. I think he is perfect. I love him. I don't think he phones in anything. Like, he actually is doing his best here with the material that he has. The material isn't great, but he's great in everything that he does. I'm just
Russell
saying.
Crowe, in my opinion, definitely is probably the best actor in this movie. But
No.
I have
Lies. The best actor in this movie? Hang on, I want to make sure I get his name right.
is it the dude who plays Foreigner?
No, although he was kind of cool too. I'm so sorry. I should have this shit ready to go. No, fuck you, not that one. Hang on. Where is it? Got it.
Who are we looking for?
Hang on.
Calypso.
No,
alright.
no, Calypso's. I don't like that Calypso's in this. Like, I get that she's in it, but I don't like that she's in it. Alessandro Nivola, that plays Rhino. That dude is having the most fun in this movie. Like, he gets it. He understands.
Okay,
what
that's
the
fair.
assignment is.
He is having
is
no
cool.
fun.
Listen,
But why
that's
the
what I'm saying.
fuck
I don't
is he
understand.
here?
I don't understand why you hate the Rhino in this movie is awesome. Dude,
Rhino in this movie looks like Tremor from Mortal Kombat
he's
X.
so cool. How do you not like him? That is awesome. And that's
What are you talking about, bro? Dude, he literally looked like, what's that show
Oh
called?
my
It was
God.
the moles and like whatever. I forgot what exactly it's called. I just remember the reference from Family Guy. The dudes who make We Make Holes in Teeth. He looks like those things.
Oh my God, he makes so much sense in this movie too. Like, the whole thing. I love everything about him. I love his look. I love the like colostomy bag workaround that they got for him. I love watching him transform, his powers and shit when he fights with Kraven. Dude, Rhino in this, and just the performance in general, Rhino in this is awesome.
Rhino
totally
is
worth the price to watch in
pointless.
this movie. He's
Why
great.
are you here?
I love him as the villain of this movie. He's awesome. So bad.
Rhino is lame in this movie.
Foreigner, I didn't get. I don't know enough about Foreigner. I didn't really understand his powers or anything. Like, they're cool, but I don't get it. I don't get what his whole bag is or what he's doing.
It's
there.
like a hypnosis kind of thing going on. I guess that was actually kind of interesting. I'll give it that as well. Still
I
not
like
interesting
seeing
though.
it. I
Boring
like how they
character.
represented it. You know, that was cool.
That was pointless. So yeah, everyone in here is boring, including Russell Crowe, and he's doing the best job if you ask me.
No.
Well, okay,
It
like
is-
in my opinion, Russell
it is
Crowe is
Rhino.
doing the best job. Like, okay, I guess I kind of fuck with you most. Only issue is like the movie's making him out to be this massive dick, and I do agree with that. But I don't see a lot of horrible shit he does all the time, other than some big game hunting, which I am very
No,
much
honestly, the trailer makes him out to just be the worst dad ever. He really doesn't do
He's
anything.
not horrible. Like, why is this movie so hard focused on he's so horrible? I'm gonna hunt people like him. Like, you're not showing me how horrible he is.
I don't see any part of his business at all. He doesn't like murder anybody. There's no like hits or anything.
Get mad, Breon. Get fucking mad for all I care.
There's people that come after him, but that's pretty inconsequential. You know what I mean? I don't know enough about the dad, which is weird because going into it, I thought it was gonna be the dad was the bad guy, and Alexei Rhino was gonna be like the henchman. They end up being like feuding families kind of deal, which I also liked, but didn't see coming. I didn't think that's what we were gonna do with this. So it focuses more on Rhino than it does the dad, but it makes you think it's going to be the dad. So I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I'm with you on that. There's some story beats in here that don't make a whole lot of sense and, but don't necessarily work. But that to me is just the nature of this franchise, the nature of this universe. It's just what they do. There's bad dubbing. There's bad ADR. I think they bring back the CGI lips in this movie. I'm not even fucking with you. I think we give Calypso CGI lips to fix some lines, and it looks terrible, but like that's what this whole thing is. The Venom movies do it too.
I honestly don't even see that in the Venom movies. I didn't even see that in this movie, so that's actually new.
There's bad dubbing in ADR in the Venom movies too, man. And I think this last one had it the most too, honestly. But I put that on Sony more than anything. So like I have to look at this through that lens. This is a very enjoyable movie. There's enough mindless stuff going on to keep my ADHD, I guess, riddled brain blocked in. And then you throw on top of it that this movie actually has the balls to be rated R. That's what makes this movie completely enjoyable for me. I get everything that is promised in all the other movies, but it actually does it. It actually delivers on the promise.
And this is where I want to get into next, because my point, in my opinion, was proven that R rating does not make a movie better, because despite one kill that made me go, oh, this movie is still boring as shit to me. I don't give a shit of R rating bloody action, because it's boring. I don't care about the characters. The actual choreography of the action isn't very interesting, especially that Rhino fight. It's boring. I don't care. I contemplated walking out of that theater a few times.
The only thing that I didn't really like is when he gets his powers. Like it really ends up being because of Calypso's potion thing, and not so much the tiger blood. But they still kind of try to loop that in. Excuse me, like with the eyes and stuff, and he's mostly got like lion powers, I guess, which is kind of cool when you watch him move and when he does like the parkour shit. But there's a scene where he goes into this old castle and he like crawls around, and I was like, dude, he's crawling like Spider-Man. Like, what the fuck is this?
How the hell did those henchmen not see him?
That's what I was saying. I mean, it was
Are you
cool.
guys that dumb? Yeah, like Star Wars Battlefront 2 AI.
He turns with them and ducks and shit. I was like, that's hilarious.
What? That made me laugh. I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
That was fun.
Now going on to the hold on. Going on to the whole how he gets his powers and stuff. I'm actually glad Calypso was involved in it, because I was ready to say, if he got his powers just because some lion blood got on him, I'm going to say, what?
Yeah.
What? But at least Calypso's like, okay, that makes more sense. Like, all right, I'll forgive you, movie, for that. And I guess you can't show that really in the trailer, I suppose.
No, as far as the movies that have come out, and I plan on rewatching the first Venom just to make sure I'm not totally full of shit. But like they go from, to me, good to and then there's like one that's just utter fucking trash. But and so that's kind of the level that I have to deal with in here, and I think this fits right in with good. And the reason why I say that is because even though it has all the problems that the other ones have, it's actually rated R. It actually goes balls to the walls, and because of that, the action and like the stuff that kind of irked me in Venom and fucking Morbius and the other ones, I actually get the fucking violence that should have been promised in the other ones. If Venom is rated R, if any of those films are rated R, all of them, they automatically are better because it fits better with their characters. This one actually took the chance, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I actually disagree with you. I disagree because one thing we always argue about is if Venom Let There Be Carnage has been rated R, but in my eyes, that doesn't change the movie we got, which is honestly why I have my issues with Let There Be Carnage. If it was rated R, we still get mostly a movie about Eddie and Venom's love-hate dysfunctional domestic relationship, honestly.
True.
Like, I think we need a genuine different script for that to be fixed. But again, I just kind of just acknowledge like those movies are stupid, but those are more enjoyably stupid for me, if you ask me. This movie, the characters are incredibly bland for me, and I don't give a shit about any of them. Not Kraven, not Shyamalan, not Calypso, not his daddy, not Rhino, or should I say fucking Tremor, not Foreigner. I don't care about anyone. And if those
Chameleon is in this too. I thought they did a great job with Chameleon too.
I think
I mean, honestly,
if there's one character in this movie that I guess I do like somewhat is Shyamalan, but at the end I'm like, don't ask why I say that.
I'll go for it. I love it.
It's by the end of the movie that I just kind of question like, what are you on about? Why now you hate Kraven all of a sudden? Honestly,
well, and that's where I think that's where the bad ADRing and the other shit bug me because I'm pretty sure. Because this all kind of came together after No Way Home, and all the hype around that was that this universe is gonna get a Spider-Man, and it was, as far as we know, it was more or less gonna be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, right? So I think all of that was already on the table. They planned around it. That was what was gonna happen. And then for whatever fucking reason, they decided we don't want to do that anymore. So now they got to go back and make essentially these okay to good movies just okay to now because they're so cut to hell. You have to take out all these references and shit, and that's what I think most of that is we took out the references to Spider-Man. We took out all the references to the character motivations, and I think that all does, well, not all of it, but I think a big chunk of it does have to do with they had to take shit out because like Spider-Man isn't in it.
Well,
Daily Bugle's in it though.
I noticed that as well. I was like, oh, that's still here.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely that universe, but they decided to, pull the rug out from under us and actually put a Spider-Man in it. To me, I like The Last Dance is probably my favorite of the Venoms.
Probably mine too, actually.
Venom #1 is probably the second one. And so I would put Kraven and Let There Be Carnage on the same level. Morbius and Madam Web to me are just completely off the table. So those are the two. That's my 3A and 3B right there.
For me, all three Venom movies I find enjoyable. They're fun. They're stupid. I guess maybe I'll have some bias because I do have a more liking towards Venom than I do Kraven, honestly.
Yeah.
I also really like Tom Hardy, and I think he does a good job in his role, definitely.
Okay.
When it comes to the second movie, I do like the directing because I like, the aspect ratio, color grading, and effects actually because it looks really nice.
Yeah.
And the action in that actually is more interesting than this damn movie. And then let the Last Dance. Surprisingly, Noel's involvement really saves that movie for me a lot too, even though I still do like it.
I gotta say, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Morbius, it was my least favorite movie of 2022, or was it one? I don't remember which year it was. Yeah, it made last place. Like, yeah. I genuinely did not like that movie. I genuinely hate this movie. Like, I put this below Morbius.
Ooh, no.
I still have not watched Madam Web, and I'm probably going to just to put it on the list, honestly.
I think that's way too harsh, man. That's way, way, way too harsh.
No.
Can I ask a question?
What's your question?
So, I guess it's actually going to be a two-parter question, but for both of you, how well did you know Kraven going into this?
Pretty well.
Sort of well. I know what he's about, but I don't have the huge knowledge of everything about him.
So, for me, for example, because I haven't seen it yet, I only know kind of this more bestial ability that he has. That's basically all I what I know about him is a little bit I know about him from watching Dan play Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, he's basically just another dude with super strength at the end of the day.
Sure. Mm-hmm. But so I guess what I'm wondering is if you were somebody who had absolutely zero knowledge of this character, do you both think it would still be more enjoyable for someone who knows absolutely nothing?
Well, he's gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because I think this movie is genuinely terrible. I was dead as mad. I paid $5 on cheap MJR movie night. I want my money back.
I'm gonna say yes. this is a pretty accurate representation of Kraven. In all honesty, they do a very good job. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I like him. I don't have a problem with him doing this role. There's some things with his voice where I'm like, I don't know, especially when he just speaks Russian. He's got a really like gravelly deep voice, and then he goes to just speaking like English because his character's from New York, which that I don't like. I think Kraven is from New York. I think Kraven, like, if they wanted him to be in New York, they should have shipped his ass back to wherever the fuck he went with his dad, and gotten an actual accent back instead of having a British dude play a dude with a New York accent who can speak Russian. You know what I mean? That particular angle I wasn't a big fan of, but everything else that he does, I think he does just fine. I'm a big fan of the way that they decided to have Kraven move and the way that he attacks and does his fighting. I'm a fan of that. That's very different. I'm used to more of the video game and like cartoon aspect that we get where he's just like a dude with super strength. At least with this, there's some like personality to his powers. I enjoyed that. So yeah, Kraven and his introduction in here is fine with me. I also have seen enough of this with the Venoms and the Morbius and the Madam Web to understand just exactly the vibe that they go with for these films. So given that context, I can fully accept how they took that formula and applied it to Kraven. The biggest thing for me, and I would totally agree with him if this wasn't rated R. I would think this movie is fucking terrible because there's so much in it. It's kind of like watching Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, the not director's cut, and then watching the director's cut. They're two completely different movies, and a lot of it has to do with the violence that is not in there. So I think this movie 100% benefits from that R rating. So all that said, I can give this a pass. I'm not going to give it a high pass because it's not a great movie, but it definitely is a good enough movie.
I am completely on the opposite spectrum because I genuinely hated this. Ron Taylor Johnson isn't really bad, but I don't think he's amazing. I do some of his quips are kind of okay, not all of them though. And his character and like the way he plays Kraven is, I guess fine, but again, I don't care. Again, you mentioned a Calypso earlier being in this movie, and Calypso has terrible parents for the record, too. How the fuck do you go missing on a safari, and the only thing you do is, honey, you see where she go? Honey, where's my super suit? Like, what the fuck? There are lions, there are hyenas and jackals and shit out here, and you don't care that hard?
Yeah, they turn their back, the girl walks away, and then they turn around, and they stay in the car! They stay in the car and they just yell their name. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what is up with Breon saying you're in this movie?
What? Oh, because I'll show you later. There's when I got my last bad haircut, that hairstyle kind of looks like Rhino. And that's what he's saying. He's saying
that. I get it.
Yeah, so
oh my god, I love that.
I can't unsee that now.
I am okay with this because Rhino is awesome in this movie.
No, he is not.
Phenomenal. Look. If what the fuck is his name? I gotta look this up.
Who are you thinking about? Maybe I know.
Who's the actor that plays Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, thank you. If Paul Giamatti would have gotten the chance to do this, oh my god, amazing. Because he's so over the top in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but like it doesn't go anywhere. This feels like the natural progression of that, and I'm totally here for it. Everything about him totally fits in this universe and this campy 90s-esque action film thing that we got going on with these characters. Mwah, it's amazing. Rhino in this film is totally worth watching. Maybe not so much the fight scene at the end, I'll give you that, but everything up till then, oh, dude, it's so cool. And, like, he sells it really well when he fucking unhooks the thing, and he's like, it's painful to do this. Like, yeah, it looks painful. And that's his real form. That's supposed to be what he looks like.
Yeah, I completely disagree because Rhino felt very pointless to me, honestly, in this film, even though he is the main bad guy. But again, he's just boring. I don't give a damn.
Man, he is not boring. His henchmen are boring. The Foreigner is boring.
Yeah, they're all boring. Everyone's boring. They really are. Even if there are some people who do a better job than others, everyone's boring. I don't care. I really don't. I think the action is boring, and that's why the R rating does not save it for me. Okay? I was bored watching the action sequence. I wasn't engaged. I was still watching the same way I watched all the talking scenes. And also, what is up with the pacing and editing? How did this movie go so fast in some places and so slow in the wrong places? This movie felt longer than it actually fucking was. I was, again, contemplating walking out of that goddamn theater because I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll do a half review for what I did see. And I didn't stay for no damn credits. The second I saw it directed by this person, I was done. I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, fucking God, that this is over. Stop reaching credit. Shut up, Breon. You just shut up right now, okay?
Yeah, my man's out here doing yoga live on Twitch.
Oh, I'm doing what?
Because you're stretching. It's your stretches.
Shut up. Ron Audience, I don't actually care what the audience score was. I don't care about anyone's score.
That is accurate. That is 100% accurate. That right there. Thank you for putting that out there, Breon. That is exactly where it should be as far as the audience. So I would say it should be, this movie, honestly, should be somewhere around 50 to 40%. That's where this one should be in. And that's fine. That's totally fine. That's pretty on par with these movies that have been coming out from this fucking weird cinematic universe that they decided to do with no Spider-Man. Good call.
Critics were not paid to say this movie because their opinions and their negative reception was accurate. If you like the movie, you know what? Good for fucking you.
You know what bugs me? What bugs me about that whole thing is that you're a Venom fan. You're a Venom fan. This is absolutely on par with the Venom films.
Yeah, at least those characters aren't boring, and at least they have humor that actually makes me laugh.
Oh my God, no, Tom Hardy has humor and makes you laugh. That's it.
Woody Harrelson does a good job as Carnage. I like Andy Serkis as Null.
But why do we have a problem with Carnage?
Okay, do I have to review Let There Be Carnage with my problem? Listen, my problem isn't not the R rating. It would have been cool, but that's not the problem with me, okay? My problem is completely different from yours. We need an... Okay. I wanted a different story as a whole. Not R rating, just a different story where Carnage genuinely felt like the actual threat. Not the focus being Eddie and Venom having a dysfunctional relationship with one another, okay?
No,
there's a lot going on to this because Eddie's still heartbroken over Anne and everything like that too. And then Carnage, when he's there, it's cool. I like him. I like his sound design, and his fight at the end is good. But I just was hoping for maybe a different type of movie that we actually got. If the movie we got, no change at all, was R-rated, my opinion would still be the same because it felt more like a love story between Eddie and Venom. And in all honesty, if I had the power to rewrite this movie, it would be maybe somewhat detective noir thing of, okay, he was in prison, he got the symbiote because he's deranged and stuff like that, gets away, and maybe learning about his past or something like that, or tracking his movements as he goes full-on maximum carnage throughout the city. That would have been interesting to me until they corner each other in that church or whatever. That's what I wanted. That's what I was hoping for. Hell, it took Eddie so long in the movie to figure out, oh shit, Cletus has a symbiote. Why wasn't that a whole focus? It was more of, okay, Venom's gone. Let me try to rebuild my life without him. While Venom goes to freaking LGBT elemental parties and stuff like that, which was still funny though.
He goes to a rave, gets on the bike.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, and like they kind of gloss over the fact that he is killing people because like they're not compatible with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's killed like 5 people at least. I just believe, I don't disagree with you, but if that movie could have been rated R, I think we would have viewed it in a higher light. Just saying. If we could have gotten the Carnage that we actually wanted, but we already knew that wasn't going to happen because they fucked everything up by not having Spider-Man in these things. It is what it is. He's so central to everything that happens in this shit. But I agree with you. I would have much rather had the Maximum Carnage storyline more, which I got like this much of it. Mm-hmm. But that's, the studio's got a studio, right?
But for what it's worth, the reason this still is over is because I don't know exactly what to say or how to explain it, but I guess my personal taste of, I just like the Venom movies more. Maybe I just like the kind of storyline where there's a guy taken over by something that's maybe a bit more deranged and maybe he loses himself or has to like live with it. Maybe I just like those kinds of stories. And the first Venom, like, it wasn't amazing, but I just had fun with it, I suppose. So while I hoped Let There Be Carnage would have been better, but at the same time I had in my head, well, the first one was really stupid. So it's kind of like I know what I'm getting into. And yeah, Let There Be Carnage still did that, I suppose. I guess maybe it had a benefit of being directed by Andy Serkis, and I think it looked really good too. So that might have boosted it up for me as well. So it's like, you know what?
Okay, no.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. So maybe there's just like this. Okay, I knew what I was getting into, and then the Last Dance, like, okay, these movies are dumb, but they're fun dumb for me. But when I saw the trailer for this one, I just thought, no, this did not look fun to me, at least,
See,
honestly.
everything that you just said is how I feel about this movie. And the biggest thing for me about it is that Kraven doesn't necessarily. I wish Spider Man would have been in this film, but he doesn't need it. He's got his own thing. There's no powers that are directly connected to Spider Man or anything. He is his own character, completely separated from Spider Man. Now, if we decide to do The Last Dance, oh, that's a whole nother story. Not The Last Dance, the Last Hunt.
Mhm.
Um, so that already works for me on that level because I can have a character's story that has nothing to do with this character that is sorely missed from the source material and from the screen to me.
Mhm.
And then it's rated R. So now I actually get the version of the movie that feels like was made anyway. Because there's a lot of stuff in Venom, Carnage, and Last Dance that look like they were filmed to be rated R, but they decided to cut it out just to make it PG-13. There's a lot of shit that goes on in those movies that if you're like, if you just gave it the R rating and showed me what's supposed to happen, I would enjoy this better. I get that with this movie. And then to me, like you just said, it's just fun. And those are big reasons why. I don't have to sit there and be like, fuck, they screwed it up because there's no Spider-Man. I don't have to be like, man, they fucked it up because they choked on the violence. No, they actually did everything that they set out to do. It feels like, and the only things that got fucked up to me in this film are the obvious, or what feels like obvious things to me of like, we got to cut out any references to Spider-Man. We got to cut out any references to any other movie. We gotta chop it up this way. We gotta chop it up that way. Why? Because we released this movie and now we're publicly shitting on it for no reason. For no reason. I don't know why they're doing that. If you weren't gonna continue with the franchise, wait until this movie came out and had its run. You put this movie out, and before anybody could do anything, probably because you're scared shitless, you just cut it off at the legs and we're like, yeah, we know it sucks. We think it sucks too, so we're just gonna call it a day and we're just gonna accept our losses on this. The fuck is wrong with you? That's what everybody was saying about the first Venom when it came out, and it still managed to gross $800 million. Now you just have no faith in anything? You're the fuckers that made it. Why are you doing that? I think there's enough of a good movie here to where it's not going to make Venom numbers, but like it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Well, I'm on the complete opposite spectrum because if you like this movie, that's fine. I'm just a fan of the Venom movies, but this movie to me was
I
not
do like the
it.
Venom movies, by the way. Like I do. I can appreciate them for the little box, but we've talked about it. Even it's not everything that we wanted, but we appreciate them for what they are.
This one, I don't want to say like I hate it because I had zero expectations for it, but I just didn't care. Like, other than the Venom movies, anything that the Sony world has been pumping out with these superhero movies have been shit. Because I already hated Morbius. I think that was the big thing. I learned my lesson with Morbius, a movie that I already still didn't want to fucking see. And I still haven't watched Madam Web, and I'm sort of dreading. I'm sorry I offended myself watching it, but I'm gonna do it just because I want to put it on the list somewhere.
I'm
I'm
not
cool
watching
if you
it.
don't.
I'm
Cool
not
if you
doing
don't.
it.
I've seen it. I got it. If you guys don't want to watch it, fine. Totally cool.
I just might. I honestly just might just because fuck it. Hell, that one at least looks like funny bad. This was just
Oh my god, it's
dull
not.
bad.
It's not. It is bad. Dude, I can't believe this. This is blowing my mind. Everything that you think this movie is, that one definitely is. It's blowing my mind right now how you feel about this
Probably
movie.
is. It probably is then.
I can't do it. You know what? Watch it. But if I hear you say anything about like good or so bad it's good, you and me. You and me.
Then fine. Let's fucking go. Okay? Because I hate this
It was
movie.
better
Okay.
than Oppenheimer.
I didn't even see Oppenheimer, so I have no opinion on that. Look, I don't like this movie at fucking all, okay? The editing is bad. I hate it. The pacing was really bad. 4 fucking minutes! It took this movie 4 fucking minutes to piss me off, honestly. Seriously. Russell Crowe, yes.
I love the opening. What's wrong with the opening in the prison?
The pacing, the editing, and oh my god, those prison guards have stormtrooper aim. Come on, guys. He was right there. How the hell did you not hit him?
Well, I mean, that's every movie, and he's busy running like a lion, so like he's very limber. And
I don't know. That lion got shot in this movie, so I'm just saying.
yeah, he fucking walked it off because he's a beast.
Yeah, that dude was swole as hell. Like, goddamn.
You know what? Actually, fuck that. That 2 reasons why you should watch this movie: the rhino and that fucking lion.
No, watch it just for the lion. Watch the scene with the lion. That's the only part I like. Okay, but other than that, what's going on? Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a message on Discord. I thought it was someone. But no, pacing bad.
Oh, we lost. We lost him.
It's funny, the one thing that I low-key sort of do. What happened?
Hey, you froze after you said it was bad. You just completely froze.
Oh, good. Shut up, Breon. Okay.
I'm with you.
Look, Ron Taylor Johnson is not horrible in this movie, but he's not good enough to me to say yes. At least I just like Kraven in this movie. That's not the case. Calypso, I don't give a damn about Calypso, and also whoever played young Calypso was not very good at acting, honestly. And also, why the fuck did you walk onto a safari, even if there was a giraffe? Oh my god, her parents were so stupid. How you gonna let your daughter go off on a safari without no damn supervision? What's wrong with you?
The cards demand it, Dreaded. The cards demand it.
Care.
You gotta
There's a time and place for everything. God damn.
We watched fucking tarot. It's fate. Doesn't matter. You play with the fucking cards. You have to do what the cards say.
Tarot was better than this.
You are out of your fucking mind.
No, I know. Well, maybe I am, but I don't care. Okay? No, put the straight jacket on me. Because fuck this movie. Shyamalan is the only character that I sort of like. Rhino looked bad in my opinion. Felt pointless. That fight was complete ass. I literally checked out of that fight. I was texting you, Morgan, and I was texting Raven at the same time as that fight was going on. That's how uninvested I was in that fight scene. And along with all the other action, I don't give a damn. It's not fun. And just because it's R-rated doesn't make it any better. If the action and the direction stuff ain't all that fun to me, then I don't give a fuck how bloody it gets. Because then, boom, it's lame.
I'm so flabbergasted by this because that's like the formula for this whole fucking franchise. It started with Venom. That's what these movies are. This one is probably the most serious out of the bunch. Yes, some editing is bad. 100%. It's got shoddy CGI. They all do. Does Rhino look perfect? No, but I think he looks very cool in context of this fucking franchise. I could absolutely see Rhino and Venom going head to head and it looking pretty fucking decent given what these movies are. But that still isn't enough to make this movie bad because it's not.
Let me finish. I wasn't done, motherfucker. I have not been done once, okay? Foreigner is still so lame and boring, even if he has a somewhat neat assassination trick.
I don't like him in there either. I'll give you that. I don't like that he's in there either.
Russell Crowe's probably doing the best job in this, but his bad guyism isn't there for me to make me say, yes, I hate you. I like kill him and everything like that. It's just, you're a bad dude and you're a poacher, and I really do hate that, so don't get on my ass for that, Breon, because I don't like that either. I was dead ass mad when he brought the damn lion head. I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, but he's like he's set up as like a crime boss though. Instead, all I get is that he poaches. Like, all right,
he's a lame crime boss. Shit.
Yeah,
there are more interesting crime bosses in other goddamn movies. Goddamn.
Yeah, like Rhino.
How do people like Red 1 and not Kraven? Red 1's at least charming and fun. This is not charming. Yes, I said that because I genuinely like Red 1.
You know what? I hope. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn on your TV and just watch commercials then.
Fine, I will do so. I will put on ads right now. Where's Hulu? I'll pull it up right now.
That's it. You know what? Sign up for these subscriptions and then go, all I want is ads. That's it. I don't actually want the content. I just want the ads.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't enjoy J.K. Simmons and Santa Claus or watch Krampus be awesome or watch Chris Evans and The Rock have fun together and stuff like that.
Okay, J.K. Simmons is great, but he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes. So yes, 5 minutes of the movie are enjoyable. When Santa is actually on screen, you are correct. The rest of it is just ads.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. And Kraven the Cunner is on the screen for most of this damn movie, and I hate every second of it. I hate
You know what I got from Kraven? No
movie.
ads.
You got what?
I got no ads from Kraven. There isn't a single ad in there. I don't think there's any product placement in the movie. At least not on Red 1 levels.
Oh, and I don't care. Who gives a goddamn, okay? Shit. Also, how the fuck did Foreigner go out so lame, honestly, if you ask me? And then Calypso just get written out of the story.
Oh, yeah,
how does Shyamalan just write off his brother at the end, despite how much you guys apparently hate it, Daddy? Seriously.
See, that's his whole arc, is that he's the little guy. He doesn't want to be a little guy anymore. Now he's going to be a big guy. And he's got some dope powers. Although, as cool as I thought how they did it was, I did think it was hilarious when Chameleon puts the Aaron Taylor Johnson head on and looks back at him and he's still like comic accurate Wolverine, you know, like that was I like what they did, but God, that's hilarious. Don't He's got to be at least as tall. Can he increase his height too? Something. And then I actually got Chameleon Face, and I thought he looked pretty cool. I like the idea of Chameleon and what he does. And honestly, if I could get more of him, I'd be cool with that.
Well, fine then. But regardless of anything, I fucking hate this movie. I went on cheap night at MJR and I still felt fucking ripped off. Someone owes me goddamn $5 fucking bucks.
I want The Last Hunt, goddammit. I really
maybe
want
that'll be a damn better movie. Shit.
Well, I want
hey, hold on a sec.
Listen, if Venom 1 can come out and be okay, and it can get 2 sequels, this movie should be able to come out and at least get 1.
If this movie does any better than The Crow, I'm killing someone.
They are definitely comparable.
I do want to say that Sony has said that they're taking an end to their Spider-Verse side.
Yeah, they said that before the fucking movie came out. It was terrible. Stupid idea. Why do they do this?
Just saying.
Why would you do that?
How about this?
It's kind of like shooting them in their own foot.
Seriously.
How about this? Cancel everything else, but keep Null, okay? You can't set that up and do nothing. Even though I like them in it. But you know what? Multiverse is still a thing. Maybe they'll do some multiversal shit.
No, I'm with you. I desperately want to see some more Null shit. I do. I really do.
I will continue. But I don't want a Kraven sequel. We don't need no more Morbin time. Who gives a shit about Madam Web and whoever else you guys are thinking? Hell, thank God Rhino's dead in this movie. I like Paul Giamatti Rhino better than I like this one.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Maybe I am, but I did not care about this guy.
This is more
the Rhino only showed up for like 5 minutes in this whole fucking movie.
This is straight Morgan levels of trolling. That's what this is.
Oh, is it?
I'm gonna need you to.
I don't troll.
You are out of your mind if that's how you feel. You're no.
At least Paul Giamatti was fun.
Go to bed.
Brain rot
right now.
Maybe I have brain fucking rot. I don't give a goddamn. I do have a cold at the moment, but who the fuck cares? Okay, I still feel ripped off from this damn movie. I was mad walking out of the theater. Like, why did I do this? I knew this was not gonna be good.
I think there is seriously some potential here with Aaron Taylor Johnson as this character, and if you clean up a little bit of stuff, and if you want to do The Last Hunt, but like you have to do The Last Hunt. I can't get no watered down with like some Null type shit or what they did with Carnage. I need The Last Hunt. I need that actual character.
Water it down.
I need him to do that.
Give him the shit.
That's the only way I'm going to get on board with this. Otherwise, I'm with you. I don't need another one. I don't need another one.
No one wants another one.
If they want to do another one, they go to Last Hunt. Well, then fucking do The Last Hunt, okay? Don't let there be Carnage me anymore. Don't do that to me ever again.
Morgan, what were you going to say?
Can I tell him what you said to me? Like how bad, just how bad it was? Like where you put it in terms of level?
Yes, say it. Say exactly how much I hated this movie.
Dreaded texted me while he was watching it and said to me, "This is Little Things bad."
Did you even see The Little Things?
No, but the way you guys talk about this movie is how much I hate it.
No, you watch it first, okay? Just watch it first. And then if you feel that way, I will respect it. But watch that first before you say that. Because that is a very, very serious statement, my friend.
No, I mean it. Okay, fine. How about this? Let me explain it like this. When I said Little Things hatred, I'm kind of comparing to how you guys talk about it, okay? I didn't see that movie. I didn't have any interest in it.
Well, that's why we talk about it like that, though.
Hold on! The way you guys talk about that movie is how I feel about Kraven the Hunter, okay? That is how much I don't like this movie.
You haven't seen it. We actually have a reason for saying that because we are actually looking for a movie to be as bad as The Little Things. That way we can say there actually is something that is as bad as The Little Things.
Fine. Then let me compare to something that I did see that I hate. Lion King 2019. I hated that movie, but I hate this one worse, okay? I hate the Twilight Saga movies, okay? What other movies do I hate? I hated Texas Chainsaw 2022. I hated Morbius, but somehow that was better than this. But you know what? You know what's so funny? I'm gonna tell y'all right now, because you already spoiled, guys, that Lord of the Rings was in your top 5. This is in my bottom. So bottom, but surprisingly, one movie is still worse for me. And I'll get into why that movie I don't like more. Because at least this movie, I have something to complain about. I had nothing to say about that other movie. And if you remember what it is, you'll remember what it is. But we'll talk about that when we get to the goddamn rankings. But in the meantime, fuck this movie. I got ripped off. I hated it. I knew it was going to be bad. Why did you make me do this? And I already hate Kraven already too, because I hated him in Spider-Man 2. Not that he was a bad villain and everything like that. I just hated that I just didn't like what kind of person he was, and I wanted the worst shit to happen to him. But you know what? He wants to die. He wants to go out in Valhalla and shit like that. So when Venom bites his fucking head off, I get no satisfaction because he's all like, "Thank you, Venom." Like, fuck you, Kraven. Why did you do this to me? Maybe you gave me this worst cold. 2 out of 10. I hate this movie. Bye.
I mean, the PlayStation 2 is an awful system, so I mean, also I'm just playing. It's not a 2 out of 10 for me. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It's a 4.5 for me. I can have fun with this movie. I do have fun with this movie. Everything that he says about the Venom films, I got out of this. I actually got that satisfaction. I enjoyed the fact that it's an isolated story where me as a fan, I don't have to be like, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense because there's no Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Kraven is very much his own thing. There's enough going on here to hold your attention. The action is fine. The CGI is shoddy in some areas, but it's the same in this entire franchise. I think they did a good job with the Rhino. I really enjoy how they made him look. He fits in enough with this story. His actor is way over the top and probably sucks in everything else, but in this, it's perfect. I feel like it is the right amount of cheesy and over the top.
I'll be a better man than that.
Russell Crowe is fine in it.
Did I break my headphones? I didn't break my headphones. Good.
I don't think Calypso needs to be in this. I don't think The Foreigner needs to be in this. There's obviously some ADR stuff that's wrong with it. It is what it is. But I take all that into consideration. It's rated R. I get the violence that I've been promised in these films the entire time. Yeah. I mean, what more could you ask for? This I can turn on at any point and have fun with just because like it's mindless in all the right ways.
What was your rating?
4.5.
Interesting. Seeing how much you're glazing it, I thought you were going to say 6.
I also thought he was going to rate it higher, to be fair.
No,
but what I take away from this is that all I have to say is what I take away from this is that I'm the winner here. I chose the best film out of the two. So
yes, you did.
I disagree. I had more fun with Kraven than I did with Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings is a better movie.
I mean, therefore I chose the better film.
You definitely chose a better film. I don't think you chose the most fun film.
I disagree. I probably myself would have more fun with Lord of the Rings than Kraven.
All I'm saying is all the hate for this movie, it's unnecessary. Does it deserve hate? Yes. Does it deserve this much hate? No.
You know, it's funny. That's how I feel about The Crow. That's actually how I feel about The Crow.
I can have fun with The Crow too because the action and the violence is pretty sick.
Yeah.
You know?
That movie I genuinely actually liked. I acknowledge it's not exactly a good movie, but I actually like that one. There's a lot more in that than there was for me and Kraven.
Fair. I got nothing left. I don't want to get his blood pressure up again.
Luke, before we wrap up, Luke, this was your recommendations for Kraven, right? Like at some point.
I mean, I said I was gonna watch it, so yeah.
So
and you wanted to fight.
And you wanted to fight. So technically, it was your recommendation.
Perhaps
I was just gonna watch it.
I really didn't want to, honestly, but you know what? Oh, so Brianna has the same opinion I have about this movie for The Crow.
I think he might be half trolling you. I don't even think he's seen it.
I don't really care what he thinks because I don't care. I don't really care right now.
Nor should you. So that's why he's wrong, and you should go see this movie. Just give it a shot.
Actually, instead of seeing Kraven, go see Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, please. It deserves all the love.
Wait till this weekend to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The homie Shadow's gonna be there.
Wait till they both stream and check them out on streaming. They're both gonna have a whole new life on streaming. Honestly, like both of them are gonna get people to check them out once they go to streaming. It is what it is. So.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Everybody, sorry. All right, everybody. Without further ado, we are the Wannabes podcast. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You all have been absolutely fantastic. Thanks for hanging out and chat. Thanks for chatting with us. We absolutely love it when we get to hear from you all. Chat. Thank you to those who were over on YouTube watching us while we were live, and thank you to everybody here on Twitch as well who was watching us live. But for now, we're going to call it a night here, but we want to remind you, you can follow us on our social medias, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can search podcast Wanna or Wannabes Podcast. We'll show up either way. But we're also over on TikTok as well with a couple videos out, more to come. And we have our Spotify up. And remember, go to subscribe over on our YouTube channel because subscribing and over there and liking that live video helps us grow and get emotes unlocked for everybody. But once again, thank you everybody so much. We want to remind you as well, next week on Wednesday is Christmas, and because it is Christmas Day, we will be actually having, gentlemen, are we still good for the show on Monday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should be.
Perfect. We will be having our show on Monday, which that is December 23rd. So 8 p.m. Eastern time here on Twitch and YouTube. On Monday the 23rd, we will be live reviewing something for you. So stay tuned to our social medias that we know what we're going to be seeing and what we're going to be talking about.
Nice
But
tease.
yeah, for now, everybody, have a fantastic night, and we will catch you next time. See ya.